Plot summary of Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk by Ben Fountain. Before the story begins, Billy Lynn, a 19-year-old soldier in the U.S. Army, was in a firefight on the banks of the Al-Unsakar Canal in Iraq. During the fight, Billy tried to save Shroom, his mentor, but Iraqi insurgents killed him anyway. Because an embedded news team filmed the firefight, Billy's platoon was renamed Bravo Squad and hailed as heroes. President Bush asked them to come home for a 2-week victory tour, which would end with the Dallas Cowboys game on Thanksgiving Day. Billy takes a limo to Texas Stadium on Thanksgiving Day. When he gets there, he thinks it looks very different from what he's seen on TV. College girls pull up next to the limo and yell at the Bravos to roll down their windows. When the soldiers do this, the girls' faces drop because they don't care about soldiers. Albert, who makes movies, rides with Bravo. He is trying to get a movie deal to make a movie about the firefight, and he says that Hilary Swank wants to play both Billy and Sergeant Dime, Billy's sergeant. No one seems to know what to do with the Bravos when they get to the stadium 2 hours before the game starts. Sykes and Lodi's wonder how much their seats in the 7th row might cost. Dime talks to Billy and Albert about the movie deal. Billy thinks about why he joined the military in the first place. When his sister Catherine was in a terrible car accident, her fiancé, Pussy Boy, broke up with her. To get back at Pussy Boy, Billy smashed up his car and joined the army to avoid being charged with a crime. Billy's mind is wandering, and he wants Josh, who is in charge of the Bravos, to bring him Advil for his headache. Billy finally decides that he and Mango should go find some beer. Dime is angry that they drank, but he sends them off to find Major Mac, who is with Bravo for some reason. Billy and Mango can't find him, so they buy more beer and go into a store on the concourse that sells overpriced items with the Cowboys logo on them. They think the store is crazy. When they go back to their seats, Billy watches a punter warm up on the field and thinks that Shroom's ghost lives at the top of the football's arc. The Bravos are sitting in their seats when all of a sudden, the Jumbotron shows them. People rush the Bravos and thank them for their service. Billy is calm and nice, but he feels like everyone needs something from him. Josh tells the Bravos it's finally time for lunch, and he leads them up to the concourse. More people rush to Bravo, and many of them tell Billy that the Fox News footage looks just like a movie. At lunch, when Billy looks at the huge buffet, he feels like he might throw up. Albert tells him about how he got out of going to Vietnam, and Billy gets lost in his thoughts about how Dime and Shroom ran the platoon in Iraq. Albert's talks about the movie aren't going well, and Dime gets especially mad when Albert says that Universal Studios wants to set their story during World War II. Billy finally gets away, but Mango and a waiter named Hector stop him on his way to the bathroom. They all go outside to smoke pot, and when Hector hears that the Bravos have to go back to Iraq, he is shocked. Billy, Mango, and Hector don't know what else they can do when he says he might join the army to get health insurance for his young daughter. The book goes back in time to the day before Billy's trip home. Ray, Billy's dad, used to be a radio DJ, but after he had a double stroke, all of Ray's wrongdoings came to light. His Dallas apartments had been a cover for his secret relationships, and he even has a teenage daughter he hasn't told anyone about. Ray used to be loud, mean, and proudly conservative, but the strokes put him in a motorized wheelchair and made it hard for him to talk, which was a relief for everyone in his family. During Billy's visit, Billy's mother, Denise, does everything she can to make things perfect, but Ray always ruins her efforts by smoking all the time and watching Fox News at full volume. Billy takes his nephew Brian outside to play in the morning. It hurts Billy to think that kids like Brian die in wars. Billy's other sister, Patty, and Catherine join him outside. When Mr. Whaley, Denise's boss, comes by, he praises Billy's bravery and says he will pray for him, even though Catherine says Billy could still die. The rest of the afternoon, Billy takes a nap in the yard and talks to Catherine. Ray watches Billy leave in the morning, but he doesn't say goodbye. Catherine tells Ray that she's been in touch with a group that helps soldiers legally leave the army. Back in the present, Billy meets the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Norm Oglesby, at a gathering of wealthy Texans. As Billy listens to what people around him are saying, he realizes that he is jealous of the rich because war and death are just topics of conversation for them. Mr. Jones, a business leader, introduces himself to Billy. When Billy sees that Mr. Jones is carrying a gun, he is surprised and angry, but he is able to talk to Mr. Jones about business. As the meet and greet comes to an end, other executives ask Bravo to sign Time magazines. Josh then takes them to their press conference. The cheerleaders go crazy when Bravo walks into the room where the conference will take place. Norm talks for a long time about the Bravos, and Billy looks at a strawberry blonde cheerleader. Later, the cheerleader finds Billy when two reporters ask him about ghostwriting a book about what he did in the war. She tells Billy that most of being a cheerleader is doing service work. Her name is Faison. She tells Billy that she is a Christian, and as she talks about her relationship with Jesus, Billy leads her behind a curtain. Billy picks her up after they kiss. She has an orgasm and tells them that what they're doing is fine. At the end of the conference, she tells Billy to look for her later. Billy doesn't know where he is for 30 minutes. He is on a football field, where he seems to be waiting to film a commercial. Josh comes with footballs for Bravo to hold, and Billy and the other soldiers start a loose version of tackle football. After a few minutes, two men stop the Bravos, and a film crew calls them over to film the ad. Dime is supposed to wish America a happy Thanksgiving, but he goes off script and also talks to soldiers in the field. He and Norm talk about the Bravos movie in between takes. It takes 5 tries to get the ad right. When it's over, Norm takes Bravo to the locker room to ask the players for autographs. Billy is impressed by how big the players are and doesn't want to bother them, but he doesn't know what to do. Octavian Spurgeon asks Billy about the weapons he uses in Iraq when he meets him. Billy, who is upset, finds Dime, and Ennis, who is in charge of the equipment, gives Billy and Dime a tour of the room where the equipment is kept. Billy gets sick when he sees how much stuff the Cowboys have. Billy has a headache, but Ennis won't give him Advil. Instead, he sends Billy and Dime back to the locker room. Octavian calls Billy and asks if the players could come to Iraq to help out and shoot Muslim freaks. Octavian laughs when Billy tells him to join the army. Later, Billy gives his ball to a boy who keeps moving around. Norm wants Bravo to join him in his private box to watch the game start. More rich people thank Bravo for their service, and an old man named March Haywee comes up to Billy. Haywee knew Bush when he was a kid, and he asks Billy about how well the war went. Billy lets his mind wander while Haywee talks, and he thinks that the way these people think about the war is different from how it really is. Billy watches Faison in the line of cheerleaders as the national anthem starts. After the anthem, Billy sneaks out of the box and goes to the front to watch the game with other Bravos. When Haywee finds Billy again, they talk about the good things about capitalism. After the first quarter, Norm asks Bravo to leave. Once they are back in their seats, Billy decides to take Mango to meet Faison. When they find her, Billy feels as happy as he's ever been. He gets a call from Abort telling him to come back. The message is scary and hard to understand, but it says that at halftime, he will be marching on the field with Destiny's Child. Before halftime, Lodi's got very drunk, so it's hard for him to keep up with Billy when the marching bands start up. Strobe lights flash and fireworks that look like bombs go off. When Billy tries to do what he is told, he feels like the ground is shaking. The Bravos end up backstage, where a woman tells them that they'll be joining Destiny's Child on stage next. They see Beyoncé briefly when she goes backstage to change, and then they join her on stage. When Billy sees Sykes crying, he looks up to the sky. No one comes for Bravos after the show. All of them are scared, and Sykes still has tears in his eyes. The roadies tell them rudely to leave, and then a fight breaks out. The police send Bravo across the field, where Faison is waiting for them. She gives Billy her phone number, and Billy gives her his. Josh finally shows up to take Bravo back to their seats. Billy calls home and talks to Catherine. She tells him that he needs to talk to the group that can help him avoid going back to Iraq. When he says he wants to go back, she screams. As Bravo settled in to watch the rest of the game, Sykes started singing. Dime gave him Valium to calm him down. Billy gets a call on his phone from a number he doesn't know. He listens to the voicemail and tries to decide what to do about Catherine's offer while the bougie lady in front of Bravo notices that Lodi's is sleeping and covers him with her snuggie. Billy finds out from Dime that they are going to see Norm. Albert meets them in the hallway outside Norm's office and tells them the news. Norm wants to fund the movie, but he only wants to pay the Bravos $5,500 each for their story instead of the $100,000 that Albert promised. Dime says no, so Norm tries to get Dime to agree by making him talk to the powerful General Ruthven. Dime talks to the general, but he doesn't take Norm's deal. Instead, he leaves the office. He tells Billy that General Ruthven is very angry with the Cowboys. Dime says it's time to leave with just 2 minutes left in the game. Billy sees the crowd moving from where he is by the limo, and then the roadies attack Bravo with pipes and crowbars. Mr. Jones drops his gun, but Major Mac just shoots it straight up. Billy gets out of the limo right away to say goodbye to Faison. When she doesn't understand why he wants to leave, he knows that their relationship is over, but they kiss passionately anyway. As the people surround Billy for the last time, he realizes that their reality controls the course of the war and that his first-hand knowledge doesn't matter.
About the author. Ben Fountain was born and raised in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. When he was a teenager, his family moved to Raleigh. He went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and got a degree in English there in 1980. Later, he went to Duke University to get a law degree. He graduated in 1983. At Duke, Fountain met his wife, Sharon. Even though he briefly worked as a real estate lawyer, Fountain was mostly interested in Haiti and its history of colonialism, racism, and environmental disasters. Even though he didn't speak much French or Haitian Creole, he went to Haiti for the first time in 1991 and has been there more than 30 times since then. Brief Encounters with Che Guevara, his first collection of short stories, came out in 2006, when Fountain was 48 years old. It was based on these trips. In 2012, his first book, Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, came out. The book has won a number of prizes and awards, including the Los Angeles Times Book Prize and the Whiting Award. Fountain lives with his wife and 2 children in Dallas, Texas.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.